What's up, guys? So let's get to this week's Q&A. Hey, Freaky, hope you're well. I am 178 centimeters, 213 pounds. I'm going commie and American all in once. My waist is current 41 inches. Work out 5-6 days a week. Have noob numbers. Want to reduce weight, but I also have to study hard. And if I eat less, I don't feel like studying, or I miss a workout. Is it viable to maintain my current weight, or should I say fuck it and go for the cut anyway? Is this mostly a mental thing? Um, that's a lot to unfold with not a lot of details. Without knowing like what you're eating and how you're eating and what your workouts entail. Um, Working out 5 to 6 days a week and studying and being overweight would lead me to believe that you're eating a lot of food and or a lot of calorically dense food to not be shedding weight. Um, I think you could probably, I'm just taking a shot in the dark, but you could probably sub out some of the food you're eating with like quote unquote cleaner options and eat a similar volume, but for much less calories. Again, that's just a guess, but given what you've given me, I imagine the diet is not particularly clean, unless you just have an extremely slow metabolism or your 5 to 6 workouts a week are just dog shit workouts. So that's all I got, man. Can you give some general guidelines on training all around strength? I'm 210, 5'9", working with the 5'9" into the 210 pound range is common here so far. Working on my bench, OHP, pull ups, rows, deads, and squats every week. The workload seems to be a bit much as I go heavier. Is this just how it goes? Should I divvy up the movements into different phases? I'm fairly advanced, so the volume itself can get heavy as broad or specific as you go. I appreciate the content. Thank you. Yeah, I would, because to maintain strength on a lift, takes a relatively minimal dose of doing that lift. But when you get advanced, like to improve that lift, it takes a lot. So, a lot of time you're not going to be able to improve everything at once. So I would focus, you know, pick a movement or two that you really want to focus on, and then the other ones kind of set as sort of a maintenance, if you will. Um, and then you'll see some progress in those one or two, while maintaining the other. And then, when you break past that plateau in the one you're doing, say you add 20 or 30 pounds to it, again, you can put that one on the shelf at like a maintenance level and kind of maintain what you've built there and then send your focus elsewhere. And you have to strategically divvy it up. Even in powerlifting, like when lifters get advanced, and there's only 3 lifts we're worried about. Typically, you're not going to see all 3 moving at the same time. You're happy if 2 of them start moving at once, but generally, it's when you're at that level, just hoping to get a little bit out of something and hoping the others don't deteriorate. So that's what I would do. Keep X amount of movements at a maintenance level and focus on 1 or 2 that you really want to pursue at the time, and then kind of rotate them. Should they have weight classes for sprinters and marathon runners? Uh, that would be funny. But no, it shouldn't get watered down. Whoever's the fastest person wins. I'm fine with that. Much like with my powerlifting, I've always said that whoever has the biggest total should be best overall lifter, period. Once you get into formulas and weight classes, you're deviating further away from objectivity. So, with weight classes and powerlifting, like you win your weight class, fine, get your trophy for winning your weight class, but best overall lifter should always be the biggest total. Somebody shouldn't win best overall lifter when somebody else is squatting their bench press. That seems absurd to me. How much carryover does Zercher squat have normal squat? If I train the Zercher up to 3 plates, could I do a 3 plate squat with no issues? I have no idea. I don't do Zerchers. As far as if you're doing them for carryover to your squat, then that's a dumb idea. You should be doing squat, especially if you're talking about 3 plates. Your squat is not very far along at all. And if we're talking about variations to directly transfer to squat, there's way more better ones than a Zercher squat. We're talking about like high bar squat, low bar squat, whatever the opposite of your squat is, front squats, pause squats, pin squats, et cetera, et cetera. Zerchers are their own thing, and maybe they have some good uh, overall strength building qualities, but as far as translating directly to squat, they're not it. And do you think there's any benefit to skipping legs to get more upper recovery points? You mentioned somewhere benching 405 before your first squat. There is. When I benched 550, it's when, I had my torn meniscus and I was pretty much only benching and overhead pressing. I wasn't doing squats or deadlifts. That said, I wouldn't totally skip out on lower body stuff at all. I would maybe do like some lighter pump work, some hypertrophy style stuff that's not extremely taxing. As far as like loading a lot of weight on your body, those muscles are still important for the bench press. But yeah, you could absolutely like I mentioned earlier to the dude wanting to get generally strong in a lot of areas. If you really want to focus on your bench press for a bit, dial way back on the lower body stuff. Like still train it, but maybe don't do squats. Maybe don't load the spine with it, and don't do deadlifts. Use some more unspinally loaded, unspinally, if that's a word, movements to still get some decent training in your lower body. But yeah, that's absolutely a strategy if bench wanted to take priority. Tips to maintain, or at least somewhat maintain, base bench strength while cutting. Do variations that you've never done before. If you've never done board presses, do board presses. If you've never done buffalo bar, do buffalo bar. If you've never done long pauses, do long pauses. If you've never done Larson press, do Larson press, close, or whatever. Find similar movements to the bench press and do movements that you haven't done before. That's always been my hack for, A, keeping your sanity, and B, maintaining strength while cutting. And the thing is, depending upon how far along you are, if you're a sub-intermediate, like you really don't have to worry about losing strength, in my opinion. But if you're intermediate or beyond, just find variations you haven't done. You'll be able to still hit PRs and, build little intricate parts that you've not focused on before. And when the cut's over and you start to rebuild again, in theory, your ceiling should be higher for when you get back to your bench press. Are you breathing out when you push the bar up during bench? When I do this, I can't lift as much weight. Should I just hold my breath? Yeah, just like you want to hold your breath throughout the movement. If I'm doing like rep work and stuff, obviously you got to take breaths in between. But generally, yeah, you should unrack, big deep breath, come down, press up, and then let your breath out at the top. So yeah, that's absolutely, you should. If you want to breathe out a little bit when you're almost locked out, I don't think that's going to hurt anything, but generally you should be holding your air for the whole lift. Peace!